rose petal, you're going to cut your mesh pieces at 10 by 10 or whatever's indicated on the package. So if it's on the package, it says 10.5 inches by 10 yards, you're going to cut your piece 10.5 inches. Most Deco mesh does come in 10 inches, but you do have to pay attention. This is a wide foil mesh that I'm using, and it is 10 inches wide. So once you cut your whole roll of mesh at 10 inches, to make the petal, you're going to use curl up. So it's going to rock back and forth and look like a U shape. Then you're going to turn it into a diamond shape in front of you. Then you're going to take the top corner and bring that down to meet the bottom corner. Okay, and I'm right-handed, so I always flip my petal, the roundness of the petal, to the left. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pinch that and make a tail about 2 inches long. My finger I usually use is about 2 inches long, so that is what I use for a quick indicator. But if you have a cutting mat, you can measure it on the cutting mat. And I like to pre-make my petals. And to pre-make your petals, you can use 3 things. You can use these little sewing clips that you can get on Amazon or any sewing store, and just clip your petal, and that way you reuse the clip for the next time. Or you can use these small elastic clear bands and wrap the elastic band around the bottom of your petal, and they will disintegrate, so your customer won't even know it's on there. It's just to help you build your flower faster. And just wrap it around, and then you can let go and your petal's all formed. Or you can also staple it. The staples will fall out, you know, as time goes on, but your customer again won't even notice. So if you just get a stapler, put your tail in, staple it, there you go. Your petal is also pre-made that way. So there's 3 different ways you can pre-make your petal, and it will form this umbrella shape. The rose is this whole entire petal, just like this. Okay, for the rose flower, I'm going to be using the Unique in the Creek large board, and on the large board there is 2 holes at the top, and it has a number 1 in between those holes. That's your circumference on which row you're working on. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I prefer using the large board for making my flowers just because there's more room between the rows. It gives you more space to work with. However, you can do this exact same thing on the small board, okay? So what I have done is where those chamfered holes are, directly below, I've left that set of holes blank, and there's a number 2 in the center of it. And I have preloaded the holes on either side of this, the right and the left. And then I skipped a set of holes and preloaded closed another set of holes. And you're going to do it every other hole just like that on row 2 to start us off. When I'm teaching the rows, I do like to start off with the outside row so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. If I make the rows starting from the center, which once you have a handle on how to construct the rows, it is much better to construct your rows from the center and work your way out. But for teaching purposes, I always do the outside row first, and then I'll work onto the inside so you can see what I'm doing. So we've done every other set of holes, and we preloaded it closed. Okay, Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your petals that you made, okay, and this is why pre-making your petals is so much easier than trying to construct the rose while you're going. You can do it, it's just a little more time consuming and difficult. You're going to take the tail of this umbrella petal and you're going to put it into the preloaded zip tie. The tail is facing towards the center of the board. Okay, and you're going to do about a 2-inch, so where you closed it with a staple or elastic band or your clips, you're going to zip tie it tight. Okay, and then you're going to do the same for the next petal. So if you've clipped your petals, just take the clip off, don't let go, insert it, and do your zip tie up. Okay, once you've got all 8 of those in, we're going to go ahead and cut the zip tie tail off of those 8. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take another 8 zip ties and you're going to again go in the same holes that the previous zip tie is in, and you're going to go down and up and preload it again closed. So right over top. All 8. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be making the form of the outside of the rose. So it's scalloped on the outside of the rose. And this is just an easy way I came up with to doing that it's really, really simple. So all you have to do is now just pick any petal. Okay, I'm going to pick this petal. You're going to take the corner of this petal and it's going to go right into this zip tie here. Just place it in so it's just about an inch in. And then you're going to take the neighboring corner of the petal that has the zip tie and you are going to put that in as well. So we have 2 corner petals inside this zip tie here. And then you do it up tight like that. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go around and do the same thing. So again, you're going to take the corner, put it into the next petal's zip tie, take this corner and put it in, and then do this up. This corner in, this corner in, it almost crisscrosses. You don't want to put it in too far because we want to have this nice poof on the outside. And you're just going to continue this all the way around till all of your corners of your outside petals are in. So you can see we have that scalloped edge now. And now we're going to take our clippers and snip off that zip tie again. Okay, once you've done this, we're going to construct the rest of the rows from the center outwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to preload the rest of our board. So I am going to preload, starting on row 2, those skipped holes that we did. So down and up. And you're going to do all of row 2, row 3, just the set of 2 holes. You're going to do all of row 4, and you're going to do 4 on row 5 and 1 on the center row. So when you're finished preloading your board, this is what you have. Looks like a whole bunch of zip ties. And what we're going to do is we are going to start right in this very center of row 5, and we're going to start making our bud and building our bud right from here. So what you want to do is take one of your pre-made petals, and what we're going to do is, I have it to the curved side is to my left. I'm going to take the corner of this and I'm going to just roll this whole thing loosely, just like that. So it's making a flower bud. Okay, so if you can see that. And then I'm going to take this flower bud formation, I'm going to take the whole thing and I'm going to put all of it right into the zip tie, making sure that those corners are indeed in the zip tie, and zip it tight. And we're going to have this standing up when we're done. And then you're going to take your wire nipper, clip off that zip tie tail, and then you're going to trim this tail. Okay, so there is our center. Once you have your center bud in, we are now going to take our petals and we're going to go around row 5. And this time what we're going to do is we are going to be using the tail going towards the outside of the board. So just pick a zip tie, any zip tie on row 5, bring the tail to the outside of the board, going this way, and zip it up. Snip the zip tie tail off, and then we're going to go to the next one and do the same. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get your center of your bud, take one of the 4 that you just put into the zip tie, take a corner and you're going to wrap it around that center, take the other corner and wrap it around that center. Just like that. Then you're going to take the next one either side and wrap it around. Then the next one you're going to take and wrap it around. And then the last one I'm going to take and wrap it around, and then I'm going to get a clip, or you can even use a clothespin, and right there you're going to clothespin to hold it. Okay, you can also, if you want, you can also use the stapler again and staple it. Stapler's a lot easier. You don't have to worry about the clothespin. Okay, once you've had the outside of your rose done and the inside done, the rest is really, really easy. So you're just going to take each petal and slip the tail of each one into the zip tie. And so we're going to start with row 4. This is row 5. We're going to start with row 4. Take the tail, put it in your zip tie facing towards the outside of the board, and you're going to wrap this around. Then you're going to take your next petal, again, go right next to it of the one that you just did, stick it in, zip tie it, and wrap it around. And you're going to keep wrapping around as you're inserting petals into your flower. Now I'm going to go around and clip off these zip tail ends. Now we're going to continue on with row 3, doing the exact same thing. Okay, now we are going to finish off by doing row 2, which the tails go towards the outside, just like the rest of the rows. So you're going to take your tail, go towards the outside, and zip tie it in. Clip it off and wrapping it around. And you want to make sure that you put the tail underneath the row that we first did, so the tail's not sticking out. So you just go around and do the same thing, and it fills everything in. Okay, so once you are completed with all your petals, you're then going to go around and make sure all the ends, the tails of each petal are tucked down. Sometimes you may have to use some hot glue. So I'll put hot glue on the tail here and then tuck it down so it stays there. Most times it will stay once you put it down, but some are unruly and don't like to stay down. So you're going to go around, take your clips off. Once your rose is done, you can add some green leaves to the outside on row 1, these outside holes that haven't been used. I'm just going to trim up these little bit of from the coming out from row 2 that were facing the outside. Although you can't really see that, I'm just going to trim that up. And then we're going to use the leaf petal, which is a 10 by 10 piece, and we're just going to scrunch it right up the center. Flip it till 2 sides are equal. I am going to take a zip tie, and you can put your leaves wherever you want. I'm going to just put a couple in this hole and right across from it. Put your zip tie, and this is my good facing part of my leaf petal, and this is the part I want to see. So I'm going to stick it under the board here and go around just like that. So when I do flip it over, I have the nice part of the leaf petal showing. Okay, so there's one. And you can actually bring this over and just pop the head into the hole of the board so it's not scratching anything and it doesn't poke at the side. And then I'm going to do another leaf directly across. And you could put 1 leaf in here, you could put 2 leaves, whatever you desire. You could put leaves all around. I personally think just a few leaves on the rose is plenty. This is one of those cases where sometimes less is more. Alrighty, and then right up at the top, we have 2 holes that are very close together on row 1. These are your hanging holes, and I'm just going to use a zip tie to go down, and I poke it back up, come around with the zip tie, make sure it's locked, cut this little piece off, and that's your hanger, and there's your finished rows.